should we let Jamin lead us off? And then you can introduce Jason and any others that you want to speak. But I will go ahead and start recording here. Let's put it on the cloud.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Welcome.
Awesome. Good evening. My name is Jamin Mason. I am a Negro activist out here in Washington State. I am here to uplift and kind of galvanize a working force to pay the descendants of slavery, Black American, however you self-identify. I am here to uplift that. We are here to uplift that and promote that. I am here speaking in our ancestors' voice. I'm just a segue to it. I am not a leader. I am not any of those things. I am here to do the work of our people. Our ancestors paved a beautiful road for us, and all we have to do is simply follow it. And so that's what I'm kind of here to show today is kind of that yellow brick road that we've been following, and see how the Green Party could segue that. As we both know, we're all here saying this system has failed us. That's how I feel, and I truly feel that the Democratic, one way or another, you have to be a Democrat or a Republican, or you have to. And in this case, this was kind of an Abraham Lincoln, and actually, to be more correct, Sherman Tecumseh Sherman. Oh, I forgot his name. It's off the top of my head. Anyways, Tecumseh Sherman signed general or put into order General Special Field Order number 15. Field Orders number 15. And so that's kind of what we're basing this off of is it was treasonously taken from us and stricken by Andrew Johnson, which was the president that took up for Lincoln after the Civil War. And he struck all that away. And not only did he pretty much take away all the things, 40 acres and a mule, and all of these things that were supposed to be given to our people, he also gave reparations to the actual slave owners that took them away, or that owned these slaves and pretty much oppressed them and kept them in bondage where they are in my opinion, to this day. Nothing much has changed. It just got a different name. It's prison, the 13th Amendment, all that stuff. Slavery's still alive and well today. And I think we all need to combat that as Americans, first and foremost. And that's kind of where we stand. The resolution that I shared in the chat earlier was from grassroots. Black American Negroes, for sure, put pretty much our ancestors' voices to the test and put it in a resolution. There is a woman from Congress. Her name is Cori Bush. She also wrote one as well recently, and it was not anywhere near a true repair for our community. There's a wealth gap out there. Andy Derry talks about. I source him quite often, or cite him quite often in this resolution. Amazing source of information. He has definitely helped me in this mission, and I definitely tip my hat to him for his due diligence and the way that he is putting things on paper. And so kind of, I've already talked quite a bit, but I would like to really see where the Green Party's at, and if this true form of repair, if we can put this together, because I know that H.R. 40 is something that is on the Greens site, and we think as the Black American Negro community, we feel that this is HR 40 is lacking, to say the least. True repair. There's a wealth gap out there, and it stems from Special Field Order, as you'll see from reading that. It was done intentionally by our government. The federal government did that to our people, and we need that repair. And so I am here to listen as well as talk, which I've done quite a bit of already. And so I would like to pass this torch to a brother out here in Washington State I have nothing but respect for. I've been boots on the ground with Jason. I know what he is about. I know he is for us, we the people, and that is why I completely trust him to help us segue into a good position. He knows probably more than anybody else where my heart is and how how firmly I'm stood, or I stand in this position. So with no further ado, Jason Call, please, the floor is yours.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Jamin, and I don't want you to sell yourself short because you are a leader with this, and don't think that you're anything different, please. And it's been an honor and a pleasure to work with you on this resolution over the last, I don't know when we first met with Ja'Cory Arthur out of Louisville, Kentucky, but sort of the culmination of what we have in this document here started with Ja'Cory and the city of Louisville passing a reparations resolution. And we took that great work, standing on the shoulders of giants, and modified it somewhat to fit Washington State. I think there are some ideas out there that, maybe some states did not have so much of a hand in slavery, and that is certainly not the case here in Washington. We became a state in 1889, and prior to that, we were part of the Oregon Territory, and the Oregon Territory has a history with slavery and the abuse of Black Americans also. So I think we are all responsible, and the goal is to have the federal government really pay what is owed, I think what the hard part about this, and it's not hard for me, but I think the hard part to get to politically is that we just have to honestly tell the truth about how Black Americans have been treated, not only during slavery, but everything that has happened since slavery. And I just want to say that I came to my understanding a little bit before I met Jamin, and so when he brought me into this, we had done some other activism on the ground around healthcare, and he had tried to pull me away from the Democratic Party, and finally I have left the Democratic Party because I do not believe the Democratic Party is serious, not just about reparations, but about a whole host of other things that we are in crisis with right now. And I do believe the people in the Green Party and the platform of the Green Party is a much better representation of where we need to be for climate, for healthcare, for economic justice, and for reparations, which is what we're here to discuss today. So I helped Jamin with a lot of researching, getting some footnotes into this document, and I don't know what else I want to say about it right now, but going back to the idea of truth telling, I want to encourage everybody who has not read yet two books that kind of brought me to the realization of where we need to go with this, even before I started talking with Jamin about it, and that was The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein, and The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. And if people have not read those books, I would encourage you to start your journey on understanding the need for reparations, real reparations, not some kind of Band-Aid, but real reparations. Start with those two books and this resolution. So I am here not representing the Green Party, but I am here as a member of the Green Party, as a congressional candidate of the Green Party, and letting people know that what's in this document, this reparations document, is something that I will fight for should I be fortunate enough to be elected. So,
Awesome.
Jamin, I'll let you kind of MC this.
Yeah, of course, and no worries. This was definitely unscripted and kind of right here, but it is also 100% necessary, and the time is now. I know everyone has heard the buzz. The reparations buzz is getting real, and that is because truth is coming to light all over the world. I mean, not only here, but the British, with the passing of the Queen and all of that stuff, and their people that they have oppressed, they're waking up and being like, hey, hold on, dude, what is really going on? Why are we here? Why are we going through this? And I believe it's across all boards. The time is now to wake up, and the question really is, what side of history are you going to stand on? Are you going to stand with the Confederacy, or are you going to stand with, in all reality, the Union? Those are the two questions that you can ask yourself, and I would hope that answer would be, the American answer would be, and what all that blood was shed for, what all those lives throughout the Civil War, what they were lost for, and what they were died for, was our freedom. And I think that alone should be, truthfully, the truth be told, the end all be all when it comes to what's right and what's wrong. What Abraham Lincoln signed into law and what Sherman wrote into, with Special Field Orders 15, what he wrote into reality was a wartime law. That is the highest form, one of the highest forms of law you can have. And so for other people to walk in and to restrict that and take that away, it's kind of like, it's just a slap in the face. And I believe it's a slap in the face to people that literally almost single-handedly won that war. I don't know if everyone here is familiar, but the Union was losing. And they were in, that was kind of Abraham Lincoln signing that in, was kind of the push for them winning, the Union coming out and beating the Confederacy. It was kind of like we brought the Civil War to a close with us winning. We could have been out there and like a lot of people would have thought, we could have turned around and turned the gun on the people that had whipped us to no ends, or we could have done so many, all those people that put all that hurt into our people. Imagine what we could have done. We had a gun in our hand. Like we could have turned against all of those people, everyone that had oppressed us. Now we have power. This gun is power. So let's take that back. No, we were being civil, and we were being American, and we were truly giving our lives for the chance at freedom. And I think that is where we need to sit. And I think as Americans, we all really, truly need to soak all that information in. I know it's new. I know for me, when I heard all this stuff, and I'm a biracial. My father he's passed away now, but was a Negro. My mother is a white lady. They met in the Navy, and that kind of it stemmed from that and went from there. So I relate with that word Negro, and why I feel so strongly about it. It's on my dad's birth certificate. I was also in the recent OMB fight, And man, us Negroes, we really came through, and they were trying to extract that word Negro out of the lexicon and not let it be used. For all of us to know, that is an actual word in the lexicon, in the federal lexicon, and the word most commonly referred to when you're speaking about our people was Negro. That is the most documented by far, and in my opinion, that is what we should stand on. We should stand on everything. Black American, Black American. The only thing I don't really, and this is more my own self ideology, would be African American. I don't see how anyone can their origin can come from two different continents. That's just me. And I try to think with logic. That's what I've really tried to be. I try to be here for my ancestors first, our ancestors first, and second of all, for the American way and the way I think we should all be going. So I said all that to say this. I do not see if Khalif is here. I do not see him out there. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say there are a couple things that I want to put on the table, and the first one is the actual cash wealth that I think people oftentimes do not understand has been stolen through slavery. When we think about the rich people in this country, the wealth of the United States, and how that has been generated, one of the things that was remarkable to me as we were doing the research for this was that the amount of wealth generated by slavery in the South, on the plantations, and other industries in the South was equal to the rest of the entirety of the production of the rest of the country. I mean, that is how much wealth was generated by Black American slaves. Just sort of on an annual basis, if you put the wealth generated by other industries and then you put that up to the wealth generated by slavery. And so I think what a lot of people don't understand going into the conversation about reparations is the Black Americans have not had, over the last, what are we now, 165 years past slavery, that Black Americans were never allowed to capitalize on the wealth that they themselves generated. And I think that is, aside from just making up for the horrors of slavery itself, to take it to where we are today and to say that wealth, white people, particularly in the South, families like the Vanderbilts and so on, who were plantation owners, they are fantastically wealthy today for labor that they did not, for wealth that they actually themselves did not produce. And I think if Americans knew the real tale of that wealth production, the Black Americans were never allowed to capitalize on, they may have a bit of a different perspective on this. And the second thing I wanted to say was, in conversation with the ADOS Advocacy Foundation out of Atlanta, I had, when I was working for Marianne Williamson's campaign, which I'm no longer working for, but this was back as we were developing her reparations platform. I did a lot of work on her policy platform for her presidential candidacy here. We had a really good conversation with the ADOS Advocacy Foundation, the other policy person and I, not Marianne herself. And one of the gentlemen in Atlanta said straight up, if you're not supporting reparations due to the condition of Black Americans today, being generally in the lower socioeconomic rung of wealth earning, income earning, socioeconomic status, if you do not stand for reparations, What you are standing for is the continued economic oppression of an entire race of people in America. And if people don't think about it in those terms, like if we do not have reparations, real reparations, substantial reparations, which includes investment in Black communities and Black-owned businesses, you are saying you're okay with that continued oppression. And I think that is a way that we have to present this, and that I will present this to myself whenever I talk about it, because he really opened my eyes to framing it that way. That is a way we have to present it to the rest of the country. Like, if you don't stand for reparations, what you are standing for is the continued economic oppression of an entire race of people in America. And that's not acceptable.
Agreed. Well put. Very well put. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Very well put. And that is something we often run into is, there are two big things, cash, like Audrey just said, cash is huge. I mean, that is the ultimate gap. The reason why we are, supposed to be at a zero net worth, the Black American household, Black American Negro household, is to be at, net zero by 2040, I believe, was written. That's a reality. And that reality stems from our ancestors not being able to pass down land and assets and everything that, they say it's cliche to say whitewashed or white, you know what I'm saying? But it's not really, because to be back then, I don't even think really European or the thought of white people on as average, white, I don't think they understand that they step into privilege without even understanding it, like we weren't able to pass that down to our people. And that is what the reparations is for. And I truly feel that as Americans, we can never move forward until we repair this debt. That is a blind spot to most people. They don't even realize, oh, that's a debt that's owed. Yeah, this isn't giving anyone anything for free. I also believe, you go out and you work for stuff. This isn't, if you can, you go out and you work for things, you earn a living. This isn't about that. We should have had this wealth already accumulating in our families. And so this is to even that out. And again, until America makes that right, I don't believe it ever can, or ever will be. It kind of my 2 cents. There is a huge, please. I don't know exactly who asked about the petition that is going on, but please look at the petition, sign the petition. This is an American thing, something that a lot of people don't put out there that needs to be said. Do you know what economically what would happen to Washington State? Say if all Negroes, all Black Americans were given reparations in full from the federal government. Do you know what that would do for our economy? We're not like the billionaires. We're not gonna go and put it in a closet or hang it up on a wall and look at it, kind of boistering how much money we have. No, what we're gonna do is we're gonna fix our house. We're gonna, go down. We're gonna buy, things, a swimming pool for our kids or for our grandkids to come swim in, at grandma's over the weekend. These are things that would immediately go directly back to our economy, our local economy, which would boom the economy. So as a Washingtonian, not as a Washingtonian, as an American, period, now you take that outside of Washington and you say all 50 states are doing that. All these 50 states are actually all these people, all these Americans, all these amazing Americans that won this right fair and square to actually get this to pass down to our people. for them to actually stand there and be like, hey, you know, where this is happening in all 50 states, man, that means our entire country is booming economically because we put into something that is a past repair that should have been done. It should have been happened. So, so like I said, that's a different angle that I would like to throw out there and people to really grasp onto. This isn't, you know, and a lot of times people say when you heal the bottom of the foot, the rest of your body can heal. Well, that's the reality. We have been oppressed so long. If you heal the least of these, guess what? Everything gets better. When you don't have to. I said this the other day. When you know, everyone's like, oh, they have, you know, those people, Black Americans, those people, they just take. No, we are in reality one of the strongest by records have shown that we are one of the most thriving. Potentially, all of our patents, many of them come from Black American Negroes, however you look at it. So let's boost that up. Let's not take away from that. Let's get the American dream for all of us by fixing the least of these that normally gets stepped on. And I truly feel that this whole scenario could be potentially, well, I truly feel that this could and will change our world for the better on a global. I believe us fixing the federal government, them fixing us, the people that have been oppressed. I believe that will send a signal to the rest of the world. Hey, this is real. This is tangible. We can do this, and all people should do this. But you have to fix us. You have to fix us. You have to fix the people that intentionally have been stepped on for all of these years. And literally, it's sad to me that more of us aren't like immediately. Now, when you say Special Field Order 15, and they're like, what? That was a wartime law? That was a real thing? Yes, this is a real thing that was taken by treasonous actions and by pretty much a president being assassinated behind these thoughts and this ideology. And so I just really want, I would hope that the Green Party as a whole, you know, I was hoping, trust me, I sent Cornel West an invitation to this. I know that's thinking big, but I am a thinker like that. And yeah, 40 acres and a mule for people that, thank you, Josh. Yes, so that's a reality that we need to get. This reality could be taken by us, you know, really saturate ourselves with this information. And if you truly stand on American ideologies, you cannot say no to this. This is an American way to fix the wrongs that, oh, I see my guys here. This can truly fix the wrongs that have happened for so long. I see that my brother Khalif showed up. He is here. Thank you so much, brethren. I was thinking, I'm going to call him my little big brother. All right. He's younger than me, but he is brilliant. I really hope that everyone here enjoys this. Khalif, we are recording just to tell you, brother. So please, like you always do, bring your A game and please, y'all, enjoy this like I will. And yeah, with that, I will pass the microphone to Mr. Mitchell. Right here.
Yeah, peace and blessings, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I'm just over here, just finished doing my stuff. We had a new baby arrival in the house. Let me go ahead and say hi to everybody. We just had a new baby arrival in the house. And so from doing all of my things that I would do with my wife, that my wife will probably be helping out with. We had a home birth literally went first at 1 a.m. and we seem like we still just trying to get over it to the point of getting balanced. But we love our new bundle of joy. But I'm so excited to be with the brother this day, having this conversation. It's a privilege and an honor. I don't know how much in depth you guys have kind of already gotten into it. So if you want to get me caught up, brother Jamin, that'd be awesome. So then that way I can kind of fall in line and kind of double dutch it, and we could go in there and get it going.
Yes, sir. So I kind of touched base on Special Field Orders 15. I touched lightly. Please get in there and do like you do with that knowledge. I was just passing the torch. Kind of, I brought up about economically how this would stimulate all states, everyone, when the federal government gives these reparations and makes that happen, makes it a reality. That would stimulate all economies all over the place in each state and would just really boom that. I brought that up. Special field order. I'm trying to think. Jason brought up how, he is from the Green Party, right? He is from a different outside look. Like you and I both know, the Democratic nor the Republican, in my opinion, are representing us. They need to, and so a real key area that I really would like to focus on is how they could pick that up as the Green Party and really run with this as a stand-alone entity of what reparations, true repair, looks like. They are going against the grain and everything else. So I really wanted to hit home on that key point. But that's about it, brother. If that makes sense. You still on mute, man. I read you on mute.
Oh, yeah, so sorry about that. Thank y'all, family. So just picking up on everything that's just going on, the main thing, like my brother was just saying, is, just going through our ancestors and through various conversations, we've just come to find a place of solace through this term called delineation, which is to identify the appropriate people group from the atrocities of American chattel slavery. We do understand and recognize that there are other black groups that are around the whole diaspora who literally have atrocities from colonialism, white supremacy, anti-black hate, and all of the different policies and nuances that may go on in their respective countries. But when we speak Negro or Negro American or American Negro, we specifically speak to the people whose ancestors worked from, quote, can't see morning to can't see night, the ones that used to sing Let My People Go from Negro Spirituals, by Robert Appleton book. We're talking about the slave revolts, the Negro slave revolts. We're still talking about the group of people who would be called Black American, but specifically the Negro or the Black American Negro. And when we're speaking to that, I came about that from my great grandmother, who was Sally Mae Page, whose ancestors come from Andersondale, South Carolina, which was another small area outside of Charleston. And we migrated towards the north through the Great Migration, due to terrorism and loss of land theft. All of these atrocities never had any type of justice for them, even though a lot of these different nuances hold generational wealth attributes, and they also hold a sense of belonging in America. So we literally had to migrate and flee, much like what we see at the border crisis, to the north. And so when we speak about Special Field Order 15, the reason that became about was because my great grandma literally went ahead and make sure this is my babies. My babies touch my screen now, so excuse me. So Special Field Order 15 speaks to specifically what you would call 40 acres and a mule. So everybody knows about 40 acres and a mule, but I don't always perceive that everybody's know. Well, what happened is during the battles in America for the Union, they were coming up on plantations with a lot of these Negro slaves who were being freed, but nobody was on the plantation. Those people left who were the Confederate owners, and then the Negro slaves were there by themselves. A lot of them chose to go and fight with the Union soldiers, which probably had a great incentive with it as well, right? Hey, you help us fight, you stay free. If we lose this fight, your people come back and you go back to slavery. So Special Field Order 15 was a victory prize for those people who helped win the war. The Union won the war. Shout out to the great Union as well. Hurrah, hurrah. That is the America that we know and experience today. Without that victory, America that we know today would look like a very, very vastly different place because the Confederacy would have owned it, and it might not be even called the United States of America. It may be called the Confederacy States of America. But one thing I do want to say for sure is that when you're talking about Special Field Order 15, it is a beautiful and magnificent order. Definitely look at that. Another area of concern, and I'll try to get some of these links to throw in there as well. Another area of concern is the conversation that was spoken to with General Sherman Tecumseh Williams and and Secretary of War, which is now called Secretary of State, Secretary Stanton, and they were drafting up Special Field Order 15. And so it is very American. It's a great war document, and because it's part of the Negro or colored troops, it doesn't always get shine. People feel like when they shine a light on the colored troops, it's kind of like, well, we want to focus on all the troops. But I think it's very specific to focus on those troops because you have to remember the transition that they had just came from. They were just slaves a week ago, and then today you're putting on soldiers and gears and marching with one of the greatest generals America never had, General Sherman Tecumseh Williams. And so when we're talking about restitution, that is the foundational platform for which we build it on. I specifically don't always say that I want to seek restitution for, quote, slavery, because slavery is an institution that America allowed and licensed. So therefore, the biggest plus that you can get from slavery is to be free. If I'm a slave, my freedom is my biggest ticket, right? But when we're talking about what happened from when we became free, this is what Special Field Order 15 literally takes its authority because it says the Negro is free and must be dealt with as such. It cannot be forced to conscription nor forced military service. So it is from that point that reparations kind of is where we speak from, and I speak from in Negro, from under the attitude of Negro, we became free, so now we're American, Special Field Order 15, and then that taking away of that from a free person, from a free American, is where we start the claim from. And so understanding that and getting all those things back, reparations is more than just a check. I know a lot of people hear that, but that is under no circumstance to delineate the fact that there is a monetary apparatus. It's supposed to be monetary, land. I believe there are 5 points that the United Nations have, and I'm no doctor on it. But the purpose of the reparations and restitution, which makes it applicable for the Green Party, is for one, it is a very pro-American plan. It is very much a pro-American veteran plan because all of those soldiers, which we speak about from that day, are soldiers who were enlisted in the United States military. Even Barack Obama himself had to posthumously grant a soldier who would not leave the land from Special Field Order 15 a Medal of Honor because the Judge's Advocate General stated that he did have the right as a soldier who fought for that land and was given special order to remain on that land and fight the United States government even to keep that land. Barack Obama gave him a posthumous Medal of Honor, and he is now with the rest of his troops in honor and not in dishonor, as they would have tried to give him as a dishonorable discharge. So when we're speaking about restitution, that platform being America, when we're speaking about the Black American, American Negro, we spend most of our money between interstates of America. We do not have any money that goes ahead and goes outside of the country. So we don't get money and send it to Mexico. We don't get money and send it to the Caribbean or to Africa or to Europe or to Canada. Our money travels from North Carolina to South Carolina, New Jersey to California, from Washington State to Florida. What that does is that it keeps the revenue of what we're getting in our people group, and it also keeps it in America. The reason that that's important is because that money, which would literally be our restitution, would then go to hell to stimulate new business ideas, new ventureship capital. It would not allow for those things like redlining. It would not allow for those things like not just redlining, but opportunities that were missed throughout racism. And we know because I believe Forbes magazine did it, and they said America has lost 16 trillion just in the past, I think, 40 or 50 years or 100 years, don't quote me, just 16 trillion just through the racist policies, redlining, and not allowing us economic opportunities to stimulate the economy. So when we're talking about paying us reparations, it will literally go ahead and actually stimulate our economy. It will allow for new inventions, new intuitiveness. We will not have to be relegated to seeing our people only for sports or entertainment apparatus. We would see them in business, venture capitalism. They would go into new fields, opening up new businesses, creating new inventions, creating new patents, creating new opportunities. America does not have many manufacturing places in America. It will boost the manufacturing economics. We will see healthy unions. We will see the creations of a new and invigorated America, starting from the most American, which is the Black American Negro, who never once defected in the battlefield, who never once was a traitor in America, who never once was seen as an enemy of the state by way of reason. Yeah, we had all of these different nuances and all of these different things that had happened, whether we're talking COINTELPRO, Mormon's Tale, Tuskegee syphilis experiments, but we had never, ever since chattel slavery, had revolts that literally wanted to bring down the institution and pillars of America. So by saying that, by being so loyal, we see this as the most American platform, the most American stimulus that can be done in this time, and the most righteous thing. Because one thing I know for sure, and I'll land on this point, and I kind of bring it on down, is this. In these conversations, when we see the conversational nuance between white Americans and Black Americans, we see this conversation of, well, there's this sensitive area, and this slavery. And my wife kind of chalked it up because you've been with this abuser has abused you, but they always said sorry, they always said they forgive you, but every now and again you flinch when they lift their hand. Every now and again you feel the fear of, okay, what if they hit me today? Well, Special Field Order 15 and reparations is a way to kind of mend that relationship. It kind of creates the space to heal, but it also allows for that nuance not to exist. For somebody to say, oh, well, you still owe me reparations. No, because we're paying it, right? Oh, well, you did this to me, yeah, but we're making it better now. So it's kind of that first step into healing, and it doesn't allow the wound to be rebanderized. And what I'm saying is that it doesn't allow for the Republican Party to play on it, the Democratic Party to play on it, the conservative parties to play on it, libertarian, whatever, because they play on that factor because the wound is still open. I believe that if a party was to be honestly and serious enough as it was during those abolitionist parties when we literally left the plantation, I believe that we would see a new party in America, because I believe a lot of people are just done with the left-right paradigm and want to see a new position for America and put us in a new guide forward where every American is counted and not just those which were stigmatized and left by the wayside as discounted. I believe every American in this day has to stand firm, especially what we see with immigration at the border crisis. And I feel like it is very much healthy for the identity of America to reflect those Americans who helped build it up from the foundation. And I land, and thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Man, y'all, do you see why I call him my little big brother? Wow. Thank you, Khalif, very much for coming through and oh man, I see. Oh man, his family's just getting big, y'all, and it is beautiful to watch. I've watched him over the last year just grow and their family grow, and just to have him around me to listen and soak up what you just heard on a daily basis, it makes me a better man. It definitely makes me a better Negro. Always has and always will. Thank you, Khalif. So yeah, that right there is just part and parcel of what we as a people could what reparations as a debt owed, not as giving anyone anything, could be solidified and really brought home to nourish our country as a whole. We're hurting, y'all. I don't gotta tell y'all. So if you're hurting as a white American, as a indigenous American, as a Chinese American, whatever ethnicity you like, if you're going through it and you're feeling that and you are not a Negro or Black American, imagine what that's like for us that have always been the people that get stepped on or overlooked or misguided, the thoughts on us. And that is where I believe that we have to come to the agreement. I watched a video. The other day, and there was this blind man. There were two blind men. One was white and one was black. And they would just walk. One was Negro, Black American Negro. Excuse me. So he would walk up, they would walk up and they would grab the arm of the people, kind of just, not really grab it, but kind of just touch it for guidance. And I will tell you, it was sad, man. I'm a grown man. I'm 43 years old, and I literally had tears in my eyes behind how different and how strikingly different the people's faces were when they realized either a white man or a Negro was touching them. And it was such a striking. If you're a Facebook friend, Jamin Mason, please, it's on my wall. I wish I could put that up or would have thought about that, but it is such a reality, and that is an unbiased opinion in the flesh. I really, honestly, I was talking with my cameraman buddy, and I want to go do that here in Seattle and just literally do 24 hours so no one can be like, oh, that was staged, or and see the difference. And that is how we can truly know and feel how different that is. And I just want y'all to take this away with you when you walk away from this conversation or you step away from this conversation. Just know that we have been hurting, and we all as Americans have the right now to make this right. Again, there's a petition in the chat. Please sign, please share, please support. My part of my 10-minute spiel was that we've done some analytics with the petition that we have going around change.org, and we realized I'm gonna put $25. So the mark on there, we got 13 signatures with $25. So I'm thinking, I'm not rich, I'm disabled, I'm out here getting by, but that's 13 extra signatures. And what I was thinking was, if we got 15 of us that donated that $25 to really push that, that's 13 times 15. That could really make this petition and wake up the elected officials that really aren't doing the business of their constituents. And that's why we're here, for different reasons. I'm here for this fight, but we're all here because something is broken. And I really want us to really take that in, analyze that, and do something about it. And this, in my opinion, is the most pertinent way to do that. I believe, and thank you again, Khalif. Oh my gosh, I was kind of thinking I should have known Superman would have come through. Thank you, brother. So now
man,
I
it's a
think
privilege
I
and a
want.
blessing, brother.
Yes, sir. Awesome, fam. I would like to open the floor up for any questions. Yeah, and just kind of, I hope you guys get true nourishment from those words that Khalif spoke. So much truth to all of those words. And also, Khalif, it was putting in the chat the 5 principles of reparations and how that looks. So just to let you know, Jason definitely was looking out for you. So I guess I don't know. We can raise hands or.
If I could, Scott's got his hand up also, but before we get into discussion, I wanted to touch on one thing, and I want to get Khalif's perspective on this and your perspective on this, Jamin, because I did link in the chat the Green Party's official support of H.R. 40, right? So the Green Party supports reparations, but we had opened up the discussion, almost an hour ago now we've been here, but we had opened up the discussion talking about H.R. 40 and that H.R. 40 is not where we need to be right now. We actually need to be beyond H.R. 40. Like H.R. 40 should have happened a decade ago or more. So where we are right now in this country, H.R. 40 is yet another study. And we have had some scholars like Professor Sandy Darity already studied this thing and come up with some numbers and come up with some direction. And so my question is, if not H.R. 40, then how do we proceed politically? If we're gonna talk about what Congress can do or what people outside of Congress can do. Yeah, and as Audrey says in the chat also, like California has done it. This has been studied a lot. And so there are some people who feel like H.R. 40 is yet another delay tactic. And so my question is, if not H.R. 40, then how do we proceed? And if somebody could talk about that and what the Green Party could do to support whatever should be next.
Right. I'll jump in there first, Khalif, and if you have something to say, I would love your thoughts as well. It was already signed into effect by a president. It was treasonously taken away. I believe that we can reenact that with the power of people and recognize like some kind of this petition could be the start. Galvanize that thought that is already been legislated. There was no need to legislate. It's already there. It's already written. It's already really spelt out in totality. Like the hate bill. I know when Jason, when we did the original form of this, we looked into Jewish Holocaust, how there was a hate crime written for them. Why haven't Black American Negroes gotten that same love? We have been oppressed here in America by our own government. Why can't we do that same thing? And I believe that's what all of those protections, all of those rights, it's in Special Field Order 15. I don't believe, brother Jason, that we need to get the Democrats to support us or get the Republicans. I believe we need to make America stand on its square as a country and do what it was meant to do, what was already written in blood and sacrifice for it to be done. I believe that's where we need that support to galvanize, really get this country behind. No, they need to be repaired. And I'll yield with that. Khalif, please, if you have something to say or don't have the baby.
No, brother. It's to be honest, the thing about it is that Special Field Order 15 is the what our ancestors wanted. That's what our people came up with, who were fresh off the plantation, who were working with white folks who've seen something. You got to remember, those people came together and put a document together with some people who watched people who were lynched, who had babies cut out of them, who had seen real bodies, who needed passes to go to other plantations. And they came together and wrote that. And that was an American plan. And when we look at circular orders, I believe it's Circular Order 13 or 12, Circular Order states that under no circumstance, either by Congress or by presidential decree, is the Confederates to get the land which was seized from the enemies back to them. So I think if we really want to get back to that constitutional fold and framework that our government is enshrined in, we have to go and make it right from where it was wrong. If there's a faulty beam on the house, I don't need to destroy the whole house. I need to fix that beam. I need to put proper safeguards to make sure while I'm replacing it, the house doesn't lose any integrity. But my goal is to replace them safeguards with the beams that it's supposed to have to keep the house sustainable. Special Field Order 15 is a very integral beam in America due to the fact that what it encompasses is our people showing that they were able to go ahead and just come together. And so when you see the president who took that away, and you go ahead and ask, Andrew Johnson took that away. Andrew Johnson is an enemy of the state. Andrew Johnson was never he was impeached, and they never even came back to finish his impeachment because things that he was doing was literally treasonous. So I think Special Field Order 15 is the proper way, and I think Special Field Order 15, given the way my ancestors still say they owe their 40 acres and a mule, I don't want to go home with a not happy meal when she asks me for a happy meal. I want the meal she asked me for, and I want to deliver it to her properly. And I think that Special Field Order 15, not adding to it nor taking away from it, is absolutely the goal. And then we build from that. And I think that is American. I think that is reparations. And I don't think Congress of today can know what those people were thinking back at that time when the country was at its most fragilest point. So I'm for going ahead and saying scrap any HR 40. It sat there like a dust bucket because it ain't anything to even put anything in front of. Special Field Order 15 got a president killed. I'll just leave you guys with that.
Yes, sir. Church, preach, brother. I can't see the hands, Jason. Maybe.
All right, Scott's got his hand up.
Thank you, brother.
Ray, hello. Hi, my name's Scott Loganauer. I'm a voter in Washington State, and I have a couple hats with the Green Party that I'm looking for ways to help this effort with. One, I represent the Green Party of Washington on the National Party's National Committee, and we're coming up to the time that we are reviewing our platform and considering platform amendments. So as Daniel has pointed out early, real reparations have been on the Green Party platform for a very, very long time. But it would be great if there was any of our guests here could maybe take a look at the platform and give the Green Party of Washington some recommendations on how it can be improved. We could then formulate a proposal that would be put before the National Party to make a good proposal, a good platform, even better. The second hat that I wear is I co-chair the Green Party's Coordinated Campaign Committee. And what we do is we work with state parties and their candidates at all levels, local, state, federal, but not including the president, everything below the president, on giving them tools to run effective campaigns. And I think your group will 99% of the time find that the Green Party candidates out there are extremely friendly to your position. So my question is, are there any guides that you have for candidates, talking points, a cheat sheet, bullet points? I'll certainly share the links that I've seen in the chat today. But if there's anything that you have that's specific for candidates to communicate, to articulate these positions to voters, to help them differentiate themselves from the competing parties that are not as friendly on this, but who might have more money, to run more effective campaigns. Those are the 2 points I'd like to leave with them. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And man, please get in contact. I definitely will leave Khalif if it's okay, and myself. Khalif is the man with the knowledge, as you saw. I'm definitely following his lead on that. So please, Khalif, if you could put your chat.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get it. We'll check out the website. Just send the links over to Brother Jamin. And we work together, and we'll do it good. And it's just like Shaq and Kobe. I'm just a big man in the middle. Let you pass me the ball, right? I can get a good rebound and pass it back to you. But Brother Jamin takes some great shots when he needs to, and he throws some good passes. And I think what can happen is that America needs to be solidified that they have an American first agenda. The American people are not wanting a global agenda. That's just a no-go. American people do not care about what's going on in Ukraine and Africa, in Europe and Russia. The American people want our roads clean. We want opium off our streets. We want homeless people to have a form of restitution, whether it be restitution in the form of giving them temporary housing, also teaching them business management skills, so that way the reoccurrence factor does not weigh in. The American people want a plan that's going to go ahead and make sure that the investments of American dollars are first decided at home before they're sent abroad. And a lot of times, I think with the candidates, is that they're trying to please so many groups that they don't actually secure the at-home group. The charity always starts at home. So one thing the Green Party can make itself known for is being an at-home party that is going to take care of at home, not just this whole notion that when you come out, because so many times we see, well, there's a problem over here we got to take up. There's a problem over here we got to take up. But then the American people are saying, well, what about this problem up my street? What about my waterways being polluted? What about my railroads being dilapidated to where we have accidents? What about our roads that's literally breaking down and crumbling with the first water storm. So we got to really take care of home. We have to shore up America. And one big, strong position that can help out the party is having an American first mindset. I think that's what Trump really took off at. It's not really that people love Trump. I mean, Trump's a likable person, and by some factors, some people might not like him. But at the end of the day, you can like his ideas, which are American first. And that right there, it doesn't matter what party or what color or what religious belief or sexual inscription you go with. That's a great policy because it takes care of you as an American more than it does anybody else who's not American.
Real quick, Jason.
Go ahead. I was just say Paul has his hand up whenever you're ready.
Yeah, and just real quick to answer the last question, I would say a talking point, first and foremost, lineage-based reparations. I think that would be, right now, the hardest hit. Like, if you were a descendant of a slave here in the United States, that's who we're talking to when it comes to reparations. We are not talking about everyone that looks like us. We are not talking. No, we are specifically talking about the people, the Negro, the Black American Negro that originally set foot here and built America, or at least the blueprints to America that we see today. And I yield. Sorry about that, Jason.
No, I just wanted to hand the floor over to Paul. He's had his hand up.
Well, good evening, everybody. Yes, I'm Paul Jackson. I guess an introduction. So I'm retired. I'm 55 years old. I'm African American. I'm not mixed. My mom was from South Carolina, Choppy, South Carolina, the same county as First Lady Obama. And so I now live in Tacoma, Washington. I spent 20 years living in Seattle, and so I'm kind of familiar with the whole King County thing. But I have a question. You mentioned Cornel West. So did you actually make a request for him to come?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I'm just a little guy thinking big, you know. But yeah, I definitely reached out to the campaign on the green level, and just for come hear what real repair is. That's kind of was my thoughts, and that's what and at least I will pass this recording to them because it will be, if nothing else, a perfect guide to what real repair is. HR 40 is not it.
Excellent.
If that answers your question.
Yeah, and I have another question. Do you know who Dr. Greg Carr is? Or Karen Hunter? So Dr.
I don't.
No, okay. Dr. Greg Carr is the head of Africana Studies at Howard University. And Karen Hunter is an African American female, and she's an editor and a publicist. And so every week they have a YouTube show called In Class with Carr. And so they talk about reparations. They talk about a lot of the current stuff that's been going on. And it's been over 2 years that have been going on. And so I would recommend you go look at YouTube channel, type in Class with Carr, and you get a list of all of the shows they've done. And from there, they spun off into a website called Narrative with a K. So it's a member-based deal, but they have kept all the recordings there, and they've augmented them because Dr. Carr is a genius. He lives, this is a photo of a background library, but he lives in one in his house. And what's so fascinating is that every single topic, if it's a reference to a book, he reaches around, picks out the book, goes to the exact page of what the subject, and reads. And so the man is brilliant. And every Monday he has something office hours. Office hours are where he sits on the internet on a narrative. It has people talking about Black issues. And so I'm sure reparations is one of them. One last question. Do you guys know Jesse Weinberry? Okay, so last night, King County NAACP had a meeting with him because of the recent change from the Supreme Court of the civil rights legislation. They had him come in and talk about that. At the end of the conversation, he was talking about reparations because a lot of people may not know this, but back in the day, there were white people that were working on the farms. But when the war ended, of course, they didn't have to work anymore. So there was an idea that came up that if they could take the amount of money that they were paid, the white people and the farms around the end of Civil War, and then pay the slave people that were not paid, and take adjustments to the years and the calculation of the various ways that the dollar changed and this and that. And they were saying that the calculation is in the trillions of dollars. So I would recommend you contact Jesse Weinberry. He's a state. He lives in Seattle. He's actually bi-coastal. He has a company here in Seattle, and he's around the world. He does digital media stuff, but he's in New York. I think he's in D.C. But yes, he's got offices here in Seattle. So Jesse Weinberry, and go to his website and maybe contact him and ask if he would be willing to help you guys. He's a Democrat, but he might be willing to help you guys. So.
Well, I know Jamin and I know Jesse.
Okay.
And we have worked with Jesse before on WINA. When Jesse was promoting the resolution for Manuel Ellis a couple years ago, I assisted him with that. We were getting signatures for that resolution. So yeah, Jesse's a great resource. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. Agreed. I would second that. Jesse. Yeah. I think was that the only thing for hands? That pretty much taps me out. We definitely thank everyone so much for coming and listening and being here. I was hoping some more questions, but I hope that kind of is a good thing. And please, Special Field Orders 15, orders with an S. That's something that I just learned. That's how it's spelled as far as the word orders. I always did just orders, singular. So Special Field Orders 15, lineage-based reparations is a key. And reach out and tell somebody. Listen more than you talk is something that I have found to be really helpful, especially with my talkative self. But listen more than you talk, and you can learn a lot by doing that. That would kind of be my closing thoughts. Jason, do you got anything more to say?
I was actually just going to thank Audrey for referencing the California report because I had heard about it. I had not seen it. Now I've got a document that I want to take a close look at. So I'm excited to do that. I'll answer Audrey's question. I am 100% for cash reparations and more. Jamin and I actually, as we were working on this resolution, we talked a lot about how we make, what the cash part of it makes reparations unfeasible for many states to take on, which is why this must be a federal project. Now, California may be a little bit different because California, taken by itself, is the 6th largest economy in the world. And so maybe California could handle cash reparations for their part of it. But for most of the country, that would not be the case, and we would want the federal government to manage this. And so Jamin and I had talked about, in fact, I think we even included this in the original draft of the resolution, that if we were to put an effective cash dollar amount, I think we were somewhere in the neighborhood of $300,000 when we took it. And I think Audrey had mentioned $350,000. So we're somewhere in that neighborhood of $350,000 per individual. that is the entire biennial budget of the state of Washington. I mean, the state budget simply could not have that. And Washington is not a poor state. We are one of the wealthier states. So California is a separate issue, perhaps, but certainly a federal project here. So I wanted to thank Audrey for bringing up the California resolution and report, and I am going to read that. And I think with Scott's question about what can the Green Party do, and with a review of the platform upcoming, I do think the Green Party has a good direction. We have got some things that we can look at to update our platform, be in line with where reparations should stand right now. I look forward to that work. Jamin and Khalif, if you want anything from me in terms of putting together a candidate guide, I think that's a fantastic idea. And for my part, I'll just say I've appreciated having the conversation and looking to see how we can continue to promote and support this for the American people.
Awesome, Jason. Thank you so much, man, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. And what I'll say is this: is that whenever you have the conversation regarding reparations, just understand that's like it is an American plan. Those restitutions going back to American Negroes makes America stronger. It makes America a platform that allows for America to be able to have a firm footing so that there's no Americans lacking in any department. Should the desire or need to have change, go ahead and change itself. But what I'm saying is that should we go ahead and have a weak Negro American, that's a weak American. So that's where I look at it as. If there's a weak white American group, that's a weak American. So we need to make sure there's a strong white America, there's a strong Negro, Black American, Negro America, so that should by God's grace or by happenstance somebody try to come and seize America for their bidding under the guise of mass immigration or anything, we're not lacking. On the football team, from which I played professional football for 9 years, 2 years with the 49ers, and I also played another 7 years in the Canadian Football League. And you don't want to be lacking in any area of the game. Where you lack at is where you get exposed at, and where you lack at is where you lose the game at. And exposure can be even the fact of somebody else saying, oh, we'll offer you this since the people over there won't help you. You just got to promise us that you're going to help us fight them. So in order to keep a strong America, we have to have strong Americans. And restitution and reparations allows for that to be so.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Khalif, thank you again. I pretty much said my piece. And thank you for everyone that's came and listened. I hope I put my email in the chat. Please reach out. Khalif, like I said, that's my little big brother. Now you guys got a little bit more to the piece to the puzzle when I say that this man is Herculean figure. And so yeah, we talk daily, and I'm right there. Jason, yeah, just reposted my email. Please reach out. We're doing this, and again, sign if you haven't. If you haven't signed the petition, it's in the chat. Please sign. Please share. The Green Party, I've shared it on their platform. Please share that. I really hope that we can come together and build on this idea and this petition that's growing already just by itself. But if we put some fire under it, like I'll be doing on the 1st, we could really make big things happen. So that's all I got to say. I appreciate everyone. Audrey, thank you for being that awesome cat. What do they call genie that you are, making magic happen in those chats. Debo, very good seeing you. Again, I don't know, Will, I see Willie in here. Thank you guys for coming, showing up, and showing support. Yeah, I appreciate it. And like I said, this is American. This is an American thing, and I think we need to once we really recognize the American Negro as an American thing, it makes the whole situation of reparations a lot more tangible. So again, thank you guys very much, and hopefully we can be talking soon.